Alrighty, we are back. I think this is number 10 now.
Yes.
Damn, we made it to number 10. Good job.
Good job.
Roll the intro.
Oh. Bum, bum, ba, 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 ba-dum, ba, 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 bum.
Oh, did you just add a sound effect to the intro? Yo, every day we're progressing. Every day you're becoming better at doing intros. I love it.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right, last time
it.
we talked about fears. Today we are talking about athletics, sports, and how much of a role and positive impact they played in our lives.
Yes.
Take it away.
This guy.
You want me to lead it for you?
No, I can lead it.
Oh, okay.
Big girl tings.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So let me start off with a little bit of a spiel and then I'll ask you some questions.
Wow. Okay.
So I think for both of us, okay, well, on a real note here, I think what like the first common ground between the both of us, which is like how we like started talking and stuff and like relating. Why are you laughing at me? I'm trying to have a serious
Because
conversation
you're
here.
absolutely hilarious.
Is sports. Like we connected through sports,
Yeah.
like through basketball, through
Yeah.
tennis,
We
like
did.
we connected through sports first and foremost
Yeah.
through our circles and stuff. And also I think like that was a main thing that was like I don't know, to me when someone's in sports, I'm like, okay, there's like dedication, there's drive, there's commitment,
There's a
there's a
lot.
lot of things that go behind that person playing a sport. So immediately it's like those values are there. But
Are you
let's
stuck?
yeah.
Are you gonna make it through this episode? All right.
No, I was gonna
Uh,
ask you,
uh, okay, good.
how long have sports played a role in your life?
Well, that's actually a good question. Let's rewind the clock here a little bit. Let's take it all the way back to the
Put a
90s.
little promo. 1990, the year Navarra
One
was
day we'll one
born.
day we'll get big. We'll have an editor do all this stuff for us.
Yeah, I like it.
Um, but yeah, honestly, probably since I was like, I think I started playing sports when I was like 5 or 6. I think when most kids start playing,
Mm-hmm.
so you start playing soccer, you dabble in like some skating, you play hockey a little bit, like when I'm 8, 9 type thing.
Okay.
But soccer started first.
So your very first
First
sport,
experience was soccer,
first experience in any sport was soccer.
100%.
Okay. And then, did you love it? Did you hate it?
I love sports. I've loved sports my whole life because I'm super competitive, and soccer like kickstarted that for me. I told you the
Yeah.
story about soccer, right?
Yeah, you scored like a gazillion goals
Yeah.
and we had our own little Messi, Edmonton Messi here.
Soccer was like my first love for sure. I think the issue with me for soccer was like I peaked hell early,
Mhm.
peaked in like grade 9. I just didn't, it wasn't practicing. I didn't get better anymore. I was like over it, and all my friends started playing basketball.
Mm, okay.
And then a basketball star would not. I was actually trash at basketball, but then I transitioned to basketball from there. So for me, it was like always soccer.
Yeah.
But I played every single like something like I'm really like proud of myself for doing is like playing so many sports
Yeah.
because I feel like that helped me to become the person I am today. Like I'm like I can use like both hands. I can play. I can pick up any sport and play. Like if you put
Yeah.
a new sport in front of me today,
Yeah.
I think you're confident I could be like
Good
decent
at
at
it.
it
Well,
the
yeah,
first day.
you picked up golf last year and you're
Yeah.
like incredible at it, which is really annoying, but
This
it's
is
fine.
that's what I'm saying. I've always loved sports and I'm always going to like and there's actually I want to play spike ball. Like there's new sports I want to play. It's like because I've seen people playing it looks like hella fun.
Is that like King's Court? Like when we
Spike
were
ball is the one
kids?
where there's like a little trampoline, you hit the ball off it, and you go in a
Oh, when you
circle.
played in like summertime and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
But I just love sports. I love like I know you're gonna say no, you don't. Like I like love being outdoors, playing sports, playing sports.
Yes. You like being outside to play
I was
sports.
like, yeah, exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So I've been doing that since I was a kid. Like I actually remember like actually let me throw it back to you because I'm talking too much right now.
No.
When's the first time you
Played a
started playing?
sport.
Yeah,
So since I was like, I'm sure you've heard stories of like my dad saying this, but like since we were like in the crib, Like he would attach like
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
string with a ball,
He
and
did
he
say that.
always used to work on our eye-hand coordination. Like we'd be in a crib instead of like normal kids having like a little like mobile or something.
Yeah.
We would be like batting a ball, like just laying
I
there,
I
just
think
like
that's so smart, and I wanna do that for our kids, like, when I
yeah.
think that's
So I
hella
think like
smart.
from a young age, he always tried to like develop the eye-hand coordination right
Yeah,
off the bat,
yeah.
which I'm really appreciative of. Um, the first sports that I got into were basketball and tennis. So I started off playing tennis, I think when I was like 5 or 6, probably
Yeah,
five
around the
years
same
old.
age,
There
yeah.
used to be like a big outdoor, but it was like an indoor tennis course, but it was used to be a big bubble here in Edmonton.
Mm.
So that's when we
Yeah,
used to
I remember that
play.
place, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was like a long, long time ago, but I was probably like around 5 years old. And then in terms of like team sports, it would be basketball. I started playing like just
You were quite the basketball star, weren't you?
well, I've been this height, so I'm like 5'8", 5'9". I've been this height since I was in grade 6.
Oh, man.
So like I've been
You've been a beast.
I've been this height. So like in all my like elementary photos, even like going into junior high, like, you know, you used to have like class pictures,
Yeah.
and like they always used to arrange you from like tallest to shortest, and like the back row, and the front row, and the middle row, or whatever. I'd always be in the back row, in the center, because I was the tallest, and then everyone would just taper from there. So all my like grade 4, 5, 6, all these class photos of mine, I'm the tallest and just so proud and just in the middle, not knowing I've been this height for a while. So obviously naturally, like when I used to play basketball, everyone used to like love if I was on their team because I was the tallest one. So I just stand on the post and just keep throwing it up. So
Yo.
it was, and I loved it. So I think it was a good combination of like a team sport versus like a solo sport like tennis. But otherwise, obviously, like went into skiing right away, like downhill skiing when I was younger, and power skating. My brother was into soccer and hockey. I never liked soccer. I was never really into it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I never liked it.
What's
Yeah,
what's one sport that you played and really loved, but it was almost more like a closet thing, like
basketball. I
oh,
wish I
really?
could, yeah, I wish I could still. So in grade, I like
Oh,
still remember
interesting.
like it was grade 8, and I was trying out for the school team, and like I had a really
Ooh,
good shot to make it. Like I
yeah.
had all the other girls like vouch for me. Like I was late in it, but I was always like, because I'm also like the eldest child, so you know everyone's like, it's like no, like focus on school. And, like I was already like really
Yeah,
into
of course.
tennis, like
Yeah, yeah.
really into tennis, like playing tournaments every weekend. We were out of town, like so it was hard to like potentially juggle both. So I remember like I had woken up, there was like this like 6 a.m. tryout or something, and I was ready to go. And my parents had this talk, and they were like, I don't know how are you gonna juggle this? Like this is gonna be pretty complicated. And like I think at that point I had to basically decide to myself, like, will it be tennis that I'm gonna pursue, or is it gonna be basketball? Because I don't think I can do both and be good at school, like be the nerd that I am. So
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
chose tennis,
Interesting.
but I would like still like play every now and then. Like I did like those like U of A summer camps for like
Yeah.
years and years, and like but like competitively I never played ball, and I wish I did.
You probably would have been a beast. You probably would have been dunking and stuff.
I would have loved to be able to dunk. So that's like a sad. I was like pretty sad about it for a couple of years, but then obviously I kept growing into tennis. So
We
yeah,
played a few times together. You know, I was thinking about the other day, this is super random, but like with Avi's like new hoop. You
yeah,
guys have a hoop too, but he has like a new one.
yeah.
I was like, we can go over there and play basketball a couple times this summer.
I'm done.
Like shoot some hoops.
Yeah,
See where your jumper's at.
yeah. Because I'm a lefty shooter, so
Yeah, yeah. We're all familiar. You're left-handed.
that extra little nazzle to
Oh my
it.
god.
Yeah,
Outside of basketball for me, like soccer, obviously I wish I would have like practiced soccer more, like played longer.
yeah.
Because I think I would like to play that in college and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um but volleyball.
You would have liked to play volleyball, or you played
I played
volleyball and
volleyball for like 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, grade 7 to 12. I played volleyball
where?
at KCHI when at J. Percy Page.
You were on the high school volleyball team?
Yeah,
On the volleyball team?
yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Yo, I love. I'm a closet. I actually love volleyball. Team sport, so much fun. Like serving, I was a middle, serving, blocking, hitting, like hella fun. Plus, my team was good that year. My team had like two like the top players in the city.
I cannot picture you
Yeah,
like for some reason like
three of the top
diving for a
players.
ball, like how they do
Yeah,
on
I
the
used to
court.
hate diving, but I remember our coach, shout out Mr. Duncan. He would like do these drills. Like basically where he like back there
Yeah.
and he's here and he will throw the ball maybe here,
You have to dive
maybe
for yeah.
over there. And if you don't dive, you know what happens, right? It's like a suicide. You have to run.
That scares me. I could never understand people just like literally dove for the ball like
So
that.
that's when I started to learn how to dive because there's like a way to dive. So it's
Um,
like that's when I started learning. That's why I was like, oh, that's why these guys wear knee
you
pads
don't
and
just
all
like
these
flop.
different things. Yeah. Sometimes like
Yeah.
my first couple dives were like, yo, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, are you okay? But yeah, honestly, like, I love volleyball. Like,
Yeah.
and I would have actually asked us to do it this year
Mhm.
with but COVID, but like an ESSE league, like Edmonton
Oh, like
Sport
a
and
rec
Social
league?
Club. Like
Yeah.
I would love to get some of the even Dino said this before, like he would love to like just get some friends.
Yeah.
Actually, it could just be all the couples or whatever.
Yeah.
We could make like a basketball team or a volleyball
Oh,
team
yeah,
or
those are
like
fun. There's, like, always, like, slow pitch and stuff that happens, like, during the summer.
so baseball is like
I
another
know.
one.
Yeah, I know you love
Oh, I
baseball.
love
Yeah.
baseball.
That I know.
Yeah. Oh bro. I love baseball.
So if you could go back and, like, play one of these sports competitively and, like, give all your time and energy into it, what would it be? Volleyball or baseball?
Baseball.
Baseball. Okay.
Yeah. I think I was actually like really good at baseball. Like I could hit really well. I could stance. I could outfield. I could catch. I could throw. I can't pitch though, obviously. But like I understood the game because I was a closet baseball fan for like years.
Yeah.
Because my uncle like he used to take us to baseball games in Toronto, Blue Jays, and all that stuff.
Oh,
So I
okay.
used to love it. So like I used to be a closet baseball fan. Like I would come home and like watch the Blue Jays play. And
Yeah.
baseball is like a boring sport to most people.
Yeah.
Like I would watch it. I would follow. I would do like fantasy league.
Oh
And Rav
my
played baseball
gosh.
for Rav's one glorious year of
After
playing sports ever was like he played baseball and he was like pretty good at it. 'Cause, like he was a muscular guy at that time, so he hit the ball really well.
Yeah.
But he was like slow and stuff. It was like he was like he played it. I was like, oh man, like I wish I had played baseball too. Like,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
we
cool.
used to go to like J. Percy Page. Like there's like those, the tennis courts and the skate park.
Yeah.
There's like a couple baseball fields. So me and the friends
Oh.
sometimes if we don't play tennis because we used to play tennis all the time till like 2 a.m. there at the
Yeah.
courts.
Yeah.
So we'd play baseball like during the day
Yeah.
and we'd get like 10 or 15 people. We like have teams and actually
Yeah.
play. And it's like so much fun.
Question for you. Okay, because you're right-handed, but now that I've
Yeah.
seen you in
But I'm
golf, you're a lefty in
left-handed.
golf.
Yeah.
So what were you in baseball, lefty or righty?
Baseball, I'm this side. So right. Same as golf, lefty.
So you're left.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's like really interesting.
Oh, that is
I don't know like
interesting.
why. Same with
What about
hockey.
hockey?
Same thing.
You're a lefty in
Like
hockey?
this. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's another thing. Hockey.
Yeah.
I have a really funny story. And Dinesh can vouch for this story.
Okay.
Um, this is like a long time ago.
Yeah.
So growing up, we used to play street hockey like every day of the week. So when you come into our crescent,
Yeah.
the parents would know sometimes they couldn't come
Yeah.
or they would park outside and they'd walk in.
Yeah.
Like there would be like 20 or 30 kids like playing hockey from different crescents would come to our crescent to play.
Yeah.
So this is when we had like our dads and some of the other parents like they pitched to get us like the proper nets.
Yeah.
My dad used to buy me like new goalie pads like every year. So this is when I used to be a
Oh.
goalie.
Oh my gosh,
So
you're
like
a goalie.
so I was like nasty for
Okay.
like a couple years. I was like a really good goal. Like I had no fear. I
Yeah.
had all the equipment, everything like that.
Yeah.
And I started playing with Rav's friends.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like they're like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I used to like play. I was so good they asked me to play with them as their goalie.
Wow.
But check this.
Uh,
One day I took a slap shot to my nuts, and I never
ouch.
played goalie again. Because if you think
Ouch.
about it, it's like the chance of it going there like are small, right? Because there's so many like things, but like
Yeah.
the timing I went down to save it.
And it was a puck or it was a ball?
No, it's like the orange ball, the hard orange ball.
Oh.
It's hard. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So like I went down and I kind of saved it, but it like clipped like my goalie stick and like pitched up this way. And I remember just like the pain. I
Oh,
was out. I remember I
no.
was like crying. I think it was probably like 10, right? 12 or something. I was like
That turned you
crying.
away from the sport forever.
So then from there, I
Yeah.
stopped playing goalie and I
Yeah.
started playing like forward and stuff, like with Din and everything.
Oh my god.
And we would like play street hockey all the time. We went to street hockey tournaments.
Yeah.
At West Edmonton Mall, they used to have a street hockey tournament.
You used to play in that?
Yeah.
I just remember you used to like going to the mall and like that
Yeah.
would go
Yo, I
on.
love street hockey. It's like so fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I
Interesting.
have a lot
Okay.
of like really cool like
Sport stuff.
sports like memories, stuff like rugby. Played rugby.
Where can you
Flag
play
football. Oh,
rugby in
flag football,
Edmonton?
flag football, flag football.
Oh,
Flag football. We won cities
yeah,
in
that was a big thing.
we won cities in this is the
Does it
first
still
time it
go
happened
on?
was in grade 6 for me.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that used to be a pretty
So
big
that was the
sport.
first year it happened
Yeah.
and we won. It was
Wow.
so much fun. Like, cause that's when I was, like, actually, like, fast and stuff, and I got slower as my brown jeans kicked in, and I
What?
lost my athleticism.
Don't blame it on the jeans.
But, like, yo, football, like, I love and plus, like, Klee was, like, my neighbor at the time. Like, now he plays in the CFL and stuff, but, like, he's, like, a football player.
Mhm.
So we always play in the Crescent and stuff like that, so, like, I could throw, I could catch because like, of playing
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, yo, flag football. Oh, I have
Interesting.
so many ultimate frisbee, all these memories are coming back now. So many good sports we're playing.
Just basically a sports connoisseur over here.
I'm like a sports I like playing sports, and I like the idea of playing a team game and having an objective to win.
So but all these sports that you've played have always been team sports. You've never played a solo sport.
The only solo sport I've ever played, um, that I almost won cities in was badminton.
Yeah, you're pretty random. Okay.
Yeah. I was, like, really good at
So
badminton.
what would you prefer? Would you prefer a team sport? So here's my question. Would you
That's
prefer
tough.
a team sport or a solo sport? And what do you think you've taken away from each?
Oh, yeah, because that's the point of this episode, by the way, is to not talk about our sports careers. Sorry about the tangent I led everyone on, whoever watches this. That's a tough question. I think both have their merits and their values.
Mhm.
I think for me, I'm not like an individual type person.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you mean?
I don't know, like I'm not like I'd rather like celebrate things with people and with
Okay.
a team. Like I'd rather like have a team of like brothers
Mhm.
to like play with, like basketball. Like we're all trying to do the same thing. If I f up, we pick each other up. All like there's like so much
Right.
camaraderie that goes with it. So like I love team sports
Yep.
because of that. It's team building, it's leadership,
Yep.
it's like how to face adversity, it's how to like set goals and achieve them. There's so much that goes into team sports.
Yep.
But on the individual side, like for example, this is so random, but the badminton thing is like it's like the mental side.
Yeah.
It's a mentality of okay, I'm out here on an island by myself. There's a referee up there, and
Yep.
there's the other person, and there's all these fans and stuff watching.
Yep.
But any mistake I make, any misstep is only my fault.
Yeah.
No one else. You know what I mean? So I think the
Yeah.
mental side of and I'm gonna let you speak on that because you played an individual sport your entire life.
Yeah.
So what did you learn from playing an individual sport?
I think just that. So basically, like I said, started playing tennis at like age 5, up until then in university. Like played for the team. But before, so university was a different. So, anyways, I'll go before university. So
Yeah.
basically, like our whole tennis lives is all you play for like a club, right? So like I was trained out at the Saville Center.
Yeah.
So you have like your coaches and stuff. So you all go down like together as a as a not a team, but like you're still competing against each other. So I could literally have a match. My first match could be against someone I train against every single day. So everything is a solo sport from right from the get go, and you're not allowed to have any coaching at any time. You can get point penalty for that. You can get game penalty for that. You can get
Yeah.
thrown out of the game. So at all time, like your parents can't coach you. There's no one sitting on the sidelines. It's just you. And growing up, we always started off playing singles and like got later on into doubles. But like as like a 10-year-old or 12-year
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
we'd always start off with singles. And that was it was hard. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard. Um, especially like there's different characters and different like levels of players that you meet growing
Of
up.
course. Of course.
So like obviously it's like first it's like if it's a new tournament, that means a new player. So there's like
Yeah.
that whole factor. You can't really like share your experiences or ask anybody else like if you're stuck. But the thing is like in the middle of a game, if you're down, like you have to get yourself out of that battle and you have to get yourself out of that fight if you're in a rut or if you were up a couple of games or a couple points or a set
Yeah.
even and you start tanking and like you had just kind of like a mental block or someone else like they just start stepping up their game. Like you have to figure out a way out and it's always on you at the end of the day. It's on no one
No one
else.
else. Yeah.
Like granted, like if that player is better than you, like all kudos to them, like all power to them, like they're just playing better. But I remember like as a kid, one of our coaches used to tell us to like write down like we used to have our tennis bags all the time and we'd write down on cards just like either like little like game points or also just like positive like affirmations so like if we like start to like lose doubt or like belief in ourselves we'd always like read it. So I remember like after every like couple games you get a break so like at a
Mm.
changeover so like a water break so we'd like always like sit down. I remember just like pulling out like a card that I like had handwritten just like okay, like you can do it, or like it would say something on like a
Oh,
couple
okay.
points,
Yeah.
and you would just sit there and just like regroup and like just try to like gather all your focus again and just try to like come back out there. It got different than in university where you're on a team now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I played tennis for the U of A on the Pandas, that was a whole different experience, which I loved because we were all training together. We had a common goal. It wasn't like
Yeah.
I'm fighting against my teammate or a fellow panda or even like a bear. At that time, the bears and pandas plays together, so the boys and the girls.
Yeah.
And it was a whole collective effort, and we were allowed to be coached at that time. So our coaches were allowed to be on the sidelines, and if we were down or
Oh,
if we were
okay.
playing like McGill or something else, like a really hard team, they could come in and give us pointers and coach us. And it was a whole different experience, which I loved, and I never had that before. But I think that's the thing about an individual sport is it's all, like you said, it's all on you. There's no one else. You can obviously like
Yeah, it's
after
just
every
different.
match, we would always like go and like have a little like
Yeah, you regroup or
discussion, like
yeah.
regroup with like our coaches who
Yeah.
would watch it or like my parents and everything, like what went right, what went wrong, what do you do next time, like what do you work on, what do you practice on. But like in that moment, it's just you. So sometimes it gets to be a lot. It's a lot of pressure. It's just
Yeah, I
about,
can
but I
imagine.
think it's just all about like handling the pressure. Like, can you handle it or can you not? And if you like it, I'm not gonna lie, there were times I hated it. Like I hated tennis for a
Yeah, I can
good chunk of
imagine.
time just
I
because
think
I
we all
was
go through
so
that
over it.
phase,
Yeah.
yeah, of our sport.
But I think for the most part, it's a lot about, yeah, like inner strength and just battling through.
Yeah, you need to know how to it's
Yeah.
adversity.
Yeah.
You get to understand how to get through adversity, face the ups and downs, the
Yeah.
triumphs, the losses, all that kind of stuff. Like so for, for sports, for me, like the biggest thing is like it teaches you how to be a person, like
Yeah.
a well-rounded individual,
For sure. Yeah.
right? Like people don't know. A lot of people don't know. Be like, not a lot of people wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
to go to a practice. Like I hated that. But
Yeah.
once I got to the practice, it's like, okay, this is actually like where I want to be.
Yeah.
Like waking up before anyone else to get better and to
Yeah.
be with the friends and have a common goal. And
Yeah.
then after you guys are like, it's just cool. I remember like being in high school, 6 a.m. practice, you run around, you do your warm up, stuff like that. And then like we finished practice early. So like, even when we finished practice earlier,
Mm-hmm.
there was still nobody in the school yet. Like
Right.
that's how early it was. Like to me,
Yeah.
that's like, okay, this is like so different
Yeah.
to our But anyways, that's a big reason why I want our kids, and obviously we're
Oh,
on the
for
same page.
sure.
Our kids
Yeah.
are for sure going to be in a
All kinds of
plethora of
sports. Yeah.
multiple different types of sports, exploring, trying different things out, individual team games, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
because we saw firsthand how it shaped us.
For sure.
What's the biggest thing what's the most important thing that you probably learned or took away from all your years of playing tennis?
It's just hard work. I feel like
Yeah.
what you put in is what you get out of
Get
it.
out.
But
Yeah.
that's for everything. Like, but it's also like I want to say it's quality, not quantity. Like I could be on the court
Yeah.
for five
Yeah.
hours and work on my forehand and nothing's coming out of it. Like, I'm
No
just hitting
point.
the
Yeah.
ball for the sake of hitting the ball. But if I'm actually like have like a targeted practice or like targeted focus, like I'm hitting cross courts or I'm hitting like a narrow forehand or a down the line forehand or like a return shot like from a serve, it's just like the dedication and the focus into that, and like that's what you take in anything that you do,
Yeah.
whether it's like studying. I felt like I always found that after had a practice or even like a tournament or a match, like the focus that I gave during when I was playing tennis, I would give that same focus when I was studying. It just translated a
Yeah.
lot easier for me,
Yeah.
just because I'm like, this is only a couple hours, I need to like power through it and I need to power through this as well. It's just, yeah.
I think for me, like something that always helped too with sports was the fact that this is not going to be for everybody, but for someone like me, is like you have to do good in school to play the sport.
Oh yeah.
So like for me,
Yeah.
I was always like motivated
Yeah.
to. Thank God I played sports, obviously, but I was
Yeah.
motivated to do good on these exams and tests because like my coaches or my teachers are basically like, "Yo, like, you know, you need to get better. You need to do
Yeah.
better." So I'd be like, "Oh crap, okay." So I think that for me in that from that respect, it was good because like I always say that when we say this now, but like it was student athlete, so student comes first.
Mhm.
But like now that's more of a parent thing. Is like, yeah, you have to do good in schoolwork,
Yeah.
so your athletics can propel you to a scholarship or to wherever else
Yeah.
down the road.
It's also like I feel like unless you were a student athlete or unless you played sports like competitively grow, it's different to play sports as a recreation
Yeah,
versus like, oh, like I played in a soccer league like that's great. Nothing's wrong with that, but I feel like there's a whole different level to it if you're playing
Yeah.
super competitive.
Yeah, it's
Just
different.
because I don't think people understand like first of all, there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it.
Yep.
Not from yourself, but like from your family. Like my dad would be working like 12-hour
Driving.
days and
Oh,
then we
yeah.
and then take us to Calgary every single weekend. And like it's not easy. And like as we get older, like I think we
Yeah.
appreciate that now. Tournaments, a lot of stress with it, like the diet that goes along with it. You can't be eating like McDonald's before a tennis match or anything. Like I don't know, maybe you did, but
Hey,
knowing.
bro, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I do want to say that we're both very lucky to have parents that took us everywhere.
Yeah.
'Cause it was the same concept, right? It was like sometimes our parents were getting off work early,
Yeah.
or they were freaking out, like who's taking
Yeah.
Nav to his game. Sometimes I had to get like a family member or like a neighbor to drive because like
Yeah.
they couldn't do it. And it was like, but they would always facilitate getting us
Yeah.
to wherever we need to be, practice, game, tournament, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they would show up after if they had to. Like I remember that happened so many times. Like,
Yeah.
but they would make sure, like, no, you're not missing this. You're
Yeah.
getting there, and that's like that's such a huge thing because like without
Yeah.
it, like where would we be?
For sure.
You
So I'm
know?
saying it's not just sacrifice like on our end for
Yeah.
like, oh, we have to sacrifice a party or like it's more than
No.
that. Like it's sleep, it's time. I think the main thing is time. And like I said, sacrifice from our families. But also I think coming back to your point about finding balance and being well rounded,
Yeah.
it's like you're just exposed into a whole new environment of people and situations that you wouldn't experience in a classroom at school. Like you're
Yeah.
put in these like high stress situations
Yeah.
or even if like whether it's a team sport or an individual sport, like you could be on the free throw line in basketball and like you have to score the point to win, otherwise it's on you. Like it's still a high stress pressure situation,
Yeah.
and it's just how you handle it. And like you said, like with 6 a.m. practices, with homework, with it's just it teaches you how to be a better person overall,
Yeah.
I think.
Sports are huge. This is a random thing that I just thought about that I want to say.
Okay.
I know you're already like, okay, this guy again. But one of my favorite things about playing soccer,
Okay.
right, was halftime because you'd always get halftime snacks.
Okay, here we go.
Did you ever experience this? Oh, you never played soccer, so
I
yeah.
never played soccer.
So community leagues, I don't think any league from like whatever 5 years old to like 15, 16, right? Obviously, it probably has changed now.
Mhm.
But during the half times of the games, the parents would bring, oranges, watermelons, different types of fruits, snacks. And I myself personally would always ensure I was playing extremely hard so that during the halftime I could be one of the first to get the snacks.
Wow. Look at that
So
rewarded
I
by
just
the
wanted to throw it
parents.
out there because maybe someone who's listening
Yeah.
also experienced that same thing, and I want to be able to share that with them.
Uh-huh. Okay, great.
I'm gonna
Okay.
be that dad who at soccer games if they still do snacks.
You're gonna bribe our child with food?
I'm gonna be that dad who like brings snacks for the kids. Like, yo,
Okay.
you guys want some watermelon? You guys need a smoothie, protein, some shakes?
You're not gonna bribe them with chase, you're gonna bribe them with like, "You want a Happy Meal?"
Yeah, you win this game, you won't get a happy meal. You better get out there and score some goals. Like, um,
Oh my
but yeah, honestly, like
gosh.
sports, like I think we could talk about it for days, but like
Yeah.
there's so many things. I feel like there's things I'm not even thinking about right now because I'm blanking, but
I feel like I wanna take it to like a next level where
oh,
it's like
oh, oh,
well, no, I'm saying like
oh.
we're not playing competitively anymore.
Anymore,
Like
yeah.
I've stopped playing competitive tennis when I
Long time
graduated from
ago,
the
yeah,
U
yeah.
of A and when I
Yeah,
then moved to Australia.
yeah,
I picked up a racket like once in the last year.
yeah,
But I think like we still like sports is still a huge part of our lives, even though we don't play it anymore. Like we're still like very invested with like, what's going on with the professional sports with tennis or even just like around in the community, like whether there's a tournament going on at the Savile, like I want to be a part
yeah,
of it, or like you were like still training, like you're still training and you still have that aspect to you, like
yeah,
with sports. But I also think I don't think it's something that just stops. It carries on with you forever, just like your interest and love in sports. But I also think it's like a really big bonding thing. Like I said, like how I started this off, like we met on the premise of sports.
yeah. Absolutely.
Like you
You
you meet,
connect,
you
yeah,
connect on a different level, you have a different interest, like you can go out, like what do we do for fun? We go play golf. Or like we go play tennis or we shoot some hoops. Like
we still play
it's
sports for fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's super important. And like although we don't play it competitively anymore, like and we still want to pass that on to like our kids one day. But like for us, it's still a huge part of our lives.
yeah,
It's still a huge part of our family's lives. Like
yeah. I
so
feel like a really good thing about sports, and you said this already, was just like the amount of effort and work that goes into it.
yeah.
So like I think one of probably it might be the biggest takeaway
Mm-hmm.
is like the hard work, like the fact that like you have to individually like make yourself better at that sport.
Yep.
So tennis is like reps on backhand, forehand, serves,
Yep.
volleys, all these drills that I'm seeing
Yeah.
people do. Like Serena did that cool drill in a documentary, like up
Yeah.
close. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Then basketball, same thing, like form shooting,
It's a
this shot, that
mental
shot. Like,
mental and a physical side to it. That's the
yeah,
thing with sport. It's not just like, oh, I'm playing a sport to get fit or to lose weight or to stay
yeah,
in shape. There's both sides to it. Like when you think about it, like that just kind of like brought me to like there's a whole IQ side to sports too, right? Like
huge
you
IQ
study
side.
film, you study after a basketball game or a soccer game or like a tennis match, like you figure out like, okay, you're serving out why, what does that mean? How do you position yourself? Like it's different things. You just have to constantly, you're always on. You're always
You're
switched
always
on.
trying to think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's like the best thing as an athlete. You're always trying to improve.
Yeah.
Like the other thing, this is the other thing about team sports, and it may be a little bit different for individual, but probably still similar. Is like you don't want to get left behind.
Mhm.
So, especially in basketball, is like, there's only 5 spots and you have 12 people on a team. And there's gonna be multiple people trying to fight for your spot essentially. So you always want to improve yourself. So at university, it's like same thing you guys, I'm sure did.
Yep.
Like we have the gym. So we're getting at the gym at 7 a.m. probably. Our class are 9. We're putting an hour in the weight room, an hour on court. But we're trying to do that ahead of the other guys on the team.
Mhm.
So like, and then maybe we'll go back at lunch and do some more so that we could like keep trying to get better. Then we still have practice later. And it's like
Yeah.
it's a constant state of self improvement.
Yep.
And I feel like that once you're done, obviously, like even now, like I still miss it. Like I'm sure you miss it too. Like
Mhm.
to some degree, it's like you would love to go back and have that sit in the locker room with everyone and like
Yeah.
have the game plan and then go out and play and try to win.
Mhm.
Like I just that it all fuels it. But like you take all that stuff now from on the court and it all perfectly transitions off the court,
Yeah.
right? The leadership, the hard work, determination, all
Yeah.
those like cool life skills you learn
Yeah.
as an
Leadership.
athlete. You
Yeah.
apply them and you're driven, you're competitive. And that's why I love seeing athletes do things
Yeah.
in the community or in business. Like if I can invest in an entrepreneur, this is just me. Like don't take this the wrong way, but like there's an athlete,
Mhm.
there's a non-athlete, and they're the same idea. I'm just gonna blindly go with the athlete because I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna be like me, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be driven to beat that person out
Yep.
more than the vice versa.
Yeah.
I know everyone has that mentality.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think they just have different life experience. Like I said,
Yeah,
you're put in a pressure cooker, like a different situation. It's just like, how do you want to react? Do you want to pop off or do you want to like figure out a way through what you've trained and worked hard for and like trust your practice?
yeah.
That's the main thing. I think it's like I said, the effort you put in is like what you get out of it, but also like it has to be like focused. Like I think that's the main thing for me. It's like quality over like doesn't matter how many hours you put in,
Yeah.
you have to be focused and put it in, and that's the main thing I took away
This is a
from it.
good plug for me to use here in terms of in the lab in
Oh, I
10,000
knew that
hours.
was coming. I knew that was
You don't want me
coming.
to plug it?
Okay, plug it.
All right, so look, let me plug this. So you guys all know there's a concept called 10,000 hours where they say it takes you 10,000 hours of practice to master your craft. I don't believe in that because if you practice unfocused, just randomly, not the right way, you practice the wrong things, bad habits, what the heck's the point of practicing?
Yep.
So I've essentially flipped that and say that you need to have 10,000 hours of focused, dedicated, and committed practice to master your craft. And taking that one step further, there's a video. I'm crazy that's coming to my mind right now called Deep Practice.
Mhm.
So deep practice is when you get into that state of like you're so focused and you're like building myelin in your brain because
Yeah.
you're constantly doing this repetitive action over and over and over again. So you're shooting the basketball 1,000 times and you're shooting with such good form and practice that come game time, like Steph Curry, it's just like it's there. It's
Mhm.
literally just a flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Am I a philosopher?
I think so.
Unbelievable. I need to write a book. I need to write a book.
Oh my gosh, you do. We can talk about all about your sports, your sports
No,
experiences.
honestly, I already told you this one day I'm gonna write a book.
Yeah, I know.
There's probably gonna be one book on in the lab. Knock on wood, hopefully we like do what we want to do and set out our goals and reach them and become the next Nike Adidas. Like I'm gonna write a book for sure on that. But outside that, I want to write a book about other things, like
Yeah.
some other things that we're gonna conceptualize, talk about off screen. But anyways, this was a really dope. This was a really dope one. Is there anything else you want to add that we may have missed in terms of like why playing sports or athletics to us,
Yeah.
not to everyone, but to us is so important?
I just don't think I want to say like I don't think it's too late to get into sports.
It's never too late.
I feel like some people think like when
No,
you're in high school, like, oh, I missed the boat. There's people who have been training for years and they're
no,
better at that at me. There's never a point in time when it's like you can't play a sport or learn how to play a sport. You can always learn if you want to and you want to put in that
exactly.
time and effort. And I just feel like it's healthy for you. Like it gets you moving when you get older. You meet different people. Like I said, it teaches you life skills, just
Yeah,
balance. Just if you want to start, like if you're watching this and like that hasn't been a part of your life, it's not too late to start. But like I just know like and the second thing is I think there's no wrong thing in doing a solo sport or a team sport. Like it's cool that like
yeah. There's a
we have different takes on it. Like I played a solo sport my whole life and you were in team sports
yeah,
always. So we have different looks on it, but I think it's just what speaks or what you're comfortable with.
yeah.
But
What
you just
takes to
have
you?
to
Yeah.
like have that exposure to everything so you can at least see what you like and what you don't like. Like if I wasn't never exposed to basketball, I would only know tennis. But it's
Exactly.
because
Yeah,
I've seen both of them that I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen how this works and I see how this works and I prefer this one.
yeah,
Like, so you have to try everything. But I love sports. I used to be a pretty big tomboy for the
yeah.
longest
You were.
time, so
Thank
I
God
used
you grew
to
out of that stage.
I used to play with the boys all the time, and I used to play street hockey with my brother. We had these family friends all the time. They used to take slap shots at me.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I remember one time
Oh my God.
we were playing on the driveway, and we were playing hockey. I could say it was my brother and Sahil and Kunal who are like these like
Okay. Yeah.
they're close family friends of ours. We'd hang out all the time. All we would do is just either go skating, play hockey, either like on the rink or on the driveway all the time. And I think someone like had tripped me or I had tripped and fell and I got this huge gash on my knee. And I was obviously the only girl and I didn't want to be like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. Like, so I was just like, everyone was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's okay. Let's just keep playing. And inside I'm like dying. I'm like, this is so painful.
I used to
But
hate falling outside on the pavement
yeah.
because
Oh,
those as a kid were the worst. Like when your skin is like just cut up with rocks and
yeah.
dirt, and it's like bleeding. It's the first time you get a cut. It's
And they
like
have to clean it
burning.
out. And they're like, we have to disinfect it.
Oh
It
my
was
God, that
just,
was the worst.
yeah.
Okay, anyways, this was another really dope episode.
Yeah.
That was number 10, bro.
Good job. This is
I also want to say something. We are going to be getting ice cream tonight. So if you made it this far in the episode, give yourself a round of applause because you're not going to get any ice cream. But me and this lady right here, we're going to get some ice cream. I'm going to tell you why we're going to get ice cream. Okay.
nice.
First of all, this is not sponsored. Made by Marcus. If you somehow see this, we would love to be sponsored by you.
Love to be. Love
So we're
to
going
be.
to this place called Made by Marcus, which is really dope ice cream, handmade ice cream. We've been eating salads for 2 weeks straight.
Because we realize that we may be getting married in 8 weeks. So we
Yeah.
need to,
So June 16th, hopefully we're going to be
sharpen up.
doing our, we're getting married for sure June 16th. We got legally married last year to do the official Indian stuff this year. But, we want to slim up. We want to make sure we're in shape. We're looking good. So actually, we both already slimmed up a lot
Yeah.
in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to continue eating our salads and doing our thing. But we're like, you know
But
what? We need just a little small little cheat. It's a nice day outside. If she doesn't have her ice cream, you know what happens, right? You guys know what happens.
what happens?
She gets
Hey! no, I don't.
angry.
I just
But
love
anyways,
ice cream. It's a major food
we're
group
getting
to
ice
me.
cream. So many more episodes and things come like that. Pretty soon, hopefully, we're going to be introducing some family members like Akil, Nanny, like whoever else, a lot of people,
Yeah.
and like that's gonna start giving us
Insight.
some cool insight and just some cool stories to do private stuff and some public things that are like
Yeah.
more chill and just keep building. But we appreciate everyone who's been watching. Shout out to who's like the OGs. I know Jasmine commented on the first couple.
Yeah, Jasmine and Zach have been watching.
Jasmine,
Shout
Zach,
out to all the way from New York.
yeah, shout out to you guys for. Hopefully, we'll see you guys one day.
Cole's been watching.
Cole's watching. Obviously, like our family's been watching.
Yeah, my mom and dad.
Dino has been watching. I can't wait to have Dino on the show one day. He's gonna be absolutely hilarious. Yeah, anyone else who's watching, man, comment or text us if you do. We'd love to eventually, post COVID, have a bunch of people on the show one by one and stuff.
Yeah.
Start introducing. The whole concept is to obviously introduce our family and friends over time, so that one day when our kids do look back on it, they can say that's Uncle this, that's Auntie that, and like, or just like, oh, that's like their friend, like that's so cool. And
Yeah.
otherwise, these conversations don't really get to happen unless you have these deep talks some random time, but it's not really a thing that happens often. So, anyways, I digress. You anything you want to say?
No, that's it.
Say no more.